business owner? Entrepreneur? Want to learn how online marketing can improve your business?
Your questions.
Our advice.
This is Not a Real Job.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 57 of Not a Real Job, a podcast about marketing, podcasting, technology, website design, social media marketing, and all that other stuff. I am Chris Van Patten, and I make websites and web apps in New York.
And I'm Joel.
How's your day going, Joel?
I feel terrible. I was at two different parties last night, and I was in a bush at some point, and I don't know.
Lots of hijinks.
It's all hazy, but I'm sweating a lot, and I'm drinking. What are you drinking, Chris?
Drinking water.
Nice. I'm drinking water and extra strength Pepto-Bismol.
Good. That sounds like a winning combination.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to dive right in then so we can get this over for you? Cool.
Yeah. So this Facebook thing, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think that's our main bit of content here. So for those of you who aren't in the know, Facebook recently put up a post on their blog, I think about a week ago or so now, August 25th. Cool. So my birthday last week. Yay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So they put in this post, it's called Newsfeed FYI Clickbaiting, and the basic gist of the post is that they're making changes to their algorithm to discourage posts that could be perceived as clickbait. So I think we've all, if you have a Facebook account, you've probably experienced this in the past at some point. Basically, a clickbaiting post, in their words, is when a publisher posts a link with a headline that encourages people to click to see more without giving them a lot of context. So the example that I love to hate is Upworthy. And I think they really pioneered a lot of this style of copywriting, or at least popularized it within Facebook marketing. So you'll never believe this crazy thing that happened to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Or 10 things you've got to see to believe, or whatever it is. Basically encouraging you through very clever copywriting to click through. And there is an art to that, I have to admit.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot of strategy and psychology that goes into figuring out what exactly you should say to get people to click through. But on the downside, it is a little manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot manipulative.
Yeah. Well, I what I found really interesting with that blog post is in the same post, they said they're going to be kind of discouraging posting photos along with text and a link back. So it feels a little, what's the word, contradictory.
Sure. And this is the other piece of the puzzle here. So in addition to just going through and preventing certain articles from getting a lot of, traction or reach on a Facebook page, they're also changing the types of posts that they want to encourage people to use. So the first one is really just they're tracking to see, how long somebody stays on a page and comes back to Facebook, just as a way to detect if something's clickbait. But they're also going a step further and saying, actually, we see certain types of posts that people are doing, and we think that's indicative of clickbait as well. And the biggest one, which I imagine, Joel, you've had a lot, or this is going to be impacting your strategies, is the idea of posting a picture with a link in the text of the description of that picture. As opposed to just posting a link and using the little preview that they generate for you.
Yeah. So what's kind of frustrating about this, and so far it hasn't had an effect. We've been doing some testing to see if they've appear to have rolled out any of this strategy, and it doesn't seem to have been the case. They're still giving more organic reach to photos than just text with a link.
Is that, I wonder if that's a chicken or an egg thing. And what I mean by that is it just that photos get more attention early on, and Facebook doles out more reach depending on how successful a post is early on? Or is that an actual, and we don't have the answer, but is that an actual algorithmic thing where they push photos higher?
Right, exactly. And my understanding is no. So-called social media experts will tell you that Facebook pushes text harder than photos. But you're right. Photos get more attention because people like photos more. So my frustration is that it feels a little contradictory to say, we don't want clickbait. We don't want you, kind of trying to trick people into going to your website, but also we don't want you to give people pretty pictures to look at to persuade them to go to your website. I always see it as an advertiser, as a marketer, part of the give and take with a consumer or someone being advertised to is you at least give them something worthwhile. Which has been, since we are in the tourism business, has been nice photos that people like to see. So to kind of remove those, it just seems, I don't know, it seems unkind to the people being advertised to, that we're going to have to, and I don't think any of this will have any big effect, because I think photos will always be more interesting, and therefore whatever Facebook does to discourage it probably isn't going to change much. But it just seems kind of silly, like, we're not going to stop advertising. At least let us advertise in a way that's less boring.
Sure. And I also have to wonder, and I don't think Facebook hinted at anything like this in their post, but the types of clients that you're working with are, I would say, I guess, it's a white hat situation in the sense that these are legitimate major tourism bureaus and resorts and people who are very legitimate businesses. Yeah. And my guess, my suspicion maybe is that Facebook is less concerned about that type of thing and probably weighting more heavily against, your not necessarily Upworthy, but the hundreds of thousands of Upworthy clones and that type of page that's really just pushing content as opposed to pushing products or, actual things that you can purchase.
So the question is going to be how big a hammer they end up wielding.
Yeah, and it may be, and my suspicion is that it's going to be disproportionately wielded on those content businesses, which is great for hopefully our listeners who are selling actual products and services and real legitimate things that people can buy, but it does suck a lot for the people who are in this content game right now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it really is just going to be a question of, whether legitimate businesses or advertisers end up getting screwed over by those other shitty companies. But
sure,
we'll see. I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's an opportunity for us to keep ahead of our competitors and other people in our comp set. So if any new challenge that arises, I typically just try to see as an opportunity to be better than everyone else faster.
Sure. And I don't want to give any of your secrets away, but I've noticed that I occasionally poke around in some of your client projects just for fun when I'm bored or procrastinating. But I've noticed sort of a lot of video happening, especially since Hyperlapse sort of came out. And personally, I think not even just on Facebook, but in general in YouTube and Vimeo, I think video marketing is really not underrated, but it's definitely a smaller spectrum of people are using video to the full extent. So I think over the next year or two, my big prediction is that video is going to be huge.
Oh yeah, because it's harder, and people are lazy, or they don't have the budgets, or they don't want to invest the time. So I mean, we use video because it's more difficult, and we know that our competitors are lazier. They don't have the team behind them that my clients do. So
sure,
it gives us a leg up, and it's far more engaging. People like to spend time. Of course, when you use video, if you're posting a video on Facebook, you rarely get any click-throughs. So there's always a give and take.
Mm-hmm. And I think within a year, because I do see video getting a lot easier, and I think part of that is because of apps like Hyperlapse and similar apps that I'm sure are going to start cropping up that are making really cool video really easy to do. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a gimmick, which I think Hyperlapse is in a sense, or simplifying the editing process, I think that's going to become a lot more common. So it it's very important for you to get on that bandwagon early and get as much juice out of it as you can.
Well, absolutely. That's why, like, when Hyperlapse was announced, I think it was the day the app came out, I called my client and said, basically said, you need to, at some point this week, take a bunch of Hyperlapse video around the island where they are on bicycles, since it's a big bike destination. So that day I hopped on Amazon Prime, ordered them clips to go on to hold their phones to go on their bikes, had them arrive the next day. The day after that, they took the video, and 2 days after that, I edited it all together, and we got it live, within a week of Hyperlapse coming out. So it is,
and it was a really cool video.
Oh, thank you. But that's a lot of work, a lot of time, and not too much money. But mostly it was effort, and we had to do it quick, because in a couple weeks, Hyperlapse is old news, and every single advertiser and destination is going to be posting Hyperlapse videos. And I'm pretty proud of the fact that we were one of the first, if not the first, at least in their competitive set. But yeah, it's the kind of thing that you have to do. Anything that's going to be a fad, anything that's going to be a gimmick, you're either first or among the last.
Yeah.
You're not first, you're last.
That's very good insight.
That's from that Will Ferrell movie?
I don't know.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, no, definitely don't know it. One more thing before we move on. I brought up the post, and it does say that this is a small set of publishers who are frequently posting links with clickbait that will see their distribution decrease. So something to be aware of, but keep an eye on your numbers, as Joel mentioned that he does. And if it does affect you, change your strategy. And if not, I guess keep on plugging. But just be aware that it's something that's happening. And in a related topic, with Facebook curating the news feeds of its users, was a recent announcement by Twitter that they are looking to do something very similar. And there have been a lot of rumors about this for a while, but nobody ever high up really said yes or no. And it looks like, I think the CFO mentioned that this is something that they're going to start rolling out probably within the next 6 months or so.
Yeah, the algorithmic news feeds are a thing, and yeah, of course it's going to happen. Of course, the nerds are freaking out because they think their Twitter is being taken away from them. But frankly, tough shit. You don't own it. Go somewhere else. Go to app.net. Wait, that's shut down. Go to Feedster or something.
Yeah, I mean,
FriendFeed. Is that still a thing?
I don't think so.
I got an email that someone added me on FriendFeed.
I think Facebook actually owns them, but keeps them running for reasons that I don't understand.
Weird. Anyway, it sucks. So just to give people a little bit more context, instead of just seeing, the stream of tweets, they were going to start making it algorithmic, like Facebook, where they decide which tweets are at the top, which order you see them in. All for the idea that so you won't miss something that's happened. And fine, I don't like it. I like my feed. I like seeing tweets in the reverse chronological order in which they were posted, but I don't have a say in the matter. And lots of people follow way too many people and don't use lists effectively. So yeah, their feed probably is just a bunch of noise and nonsense, and they'll like having it curated for them. But I mean, I also turn on the most recent stories on Facebook. I don't like the news feed there because I don't have that many friends on Facebook. So seeing the updates out of order or from posts from a couple days ago doesn't make sense to me. But again, I don't own Facebook either.
We're in the minority, I think.
Yeah.
The people who are curating their own experience versus letting service providers curate the experience for them. I think there's a big gap. I mean, it does suck for those of us who have spent a lot of time learning the ins and outs of these services and spending time curating who we follow and how we follow them and where we follow them. But unfortunately, it is changing. And that's something that you as a marketer are going to have to keep in mind, because all of a sudden on Twitter, previously the only way to the top was basically it was a very even platform. So now that the algorithms are going to come into play, you're going to have to think more strategically about what you post and how you post it. It might not have a big impact on your strategy, but again, it's worth knowing that it's happening so you can start to experiment and look at your data and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm interested to see how it affects ads. Twitter's ad platform is so good, and their sales support team are incredible. Like I'm looking forward to whatever they do, since what they've done for their ads so far have been from the advertiser's perspective, has been great. So I'm sure they'll do something neat with this new feed, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we got to wrap this up before I'm sick again.
Cool. So a little shorter this week, but we'll be back next
Sorry,
week.
everyone.
Yeah, it's all Joel's fault.
Don't
as
do drugs.
usual. We will be back next week. And
Oh, sorry, my audio sucks. We should have said this at the beginning. Did we? No, I don't think
We
so.
didn't.
I broke my in the trip back from New York last week. My microphone got broken. So,
Ugh, that sucks.
oh well, time to research and buy a new one, or likely just get the exact same one again. So,
Sure.
Yep.
Cool. So send us in your questions, because we don't have any in the pipeline right now. We'd love to hear them. And also let us know what you thought of this episode or past episodes as well. We love comments and feedback and all that kind of stuff. And you can reach us at notarealjob.com/contact if you have a comment or something, or if you have a question for us, notarealjob.com/questions. And you can also email us directly, info@notarealjob.com if you prefer. And find us on Twitter as well, NARJcast, NARJcast. We are also on Facebook, facebook.com/notarealjob. Also leave us a review on iTunes. We are at notarealjob.com/iTunes, or go into the iTunes podcast store and search us out. And I think, did I get everything?
I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week, hopefully less sick.
Sorry, everyone. I love you all.
Bye.